What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So if you were online yesterday, specifically on Twitter, you probably saw a lot of talk about the PlayStation 5 pricing, pre-orders, and everyone kind of hanging out waiting for them to go up. But there was an issue they didn't. However, some of the rumors that were being pushed were heavily believed, and we're going to talk about what exactly happened here, because I think it is an important thing to look at, especially as we keep talking about Nintendo Direct rumors coming up with our own date there. We're going to go over that, though, and we have to talk about what appears to be the hottest new system that's been leaked out for Nintendo, but it's being made by Lego. Yeah, strange thing there, and we had another copy of Super Mario Bros. For the original Nintendo sell at auction for over $100,000, showing that the retro community is kind of getting out of control itself. And I'm going to talk to you about the reason why that copy sold for so much. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit the like button, helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit the red subscribe button down below as we head towards 500,000 subscribers. And we're going to start today with a game that I completely forgot about, but was brought up after the Ubisoft Forward game, and that is Skull and Bones. Do you remember how it was 2 years ago, 2018, we saw this game from Ubisoft that was like this PvP game between different ships in the ocean, sailing around, shooting cannons back and forth, and they kind of talked about how there'd be loot you'd collect, and there was supposed to be a beta, but that beta never happened, and we never saw that game again, and it sounded like there were some issues behind the scenes. Well, Video Game Chronicles is reporting now that they have pretty much rebooted the thing completely, and they've shifted focus a bit, and it makes sense based on what VGC is reporting to what Ubisoft themselves have been saying about how they were doing a ton of live service games, and they all kind of started to blend together a bit. It seems like Skull and Bones is going to go for something a little different in the sense that there is one world that is live while you're playing, I guess. So it's going to be, as has been reported, similar to something like a Fortnite where you drop it in, the whole world is all one world, and there's not like rooms and stuff you'd go to, and it will continue to evolve over time. It's interesting the way it's described, and it is a massive shift internally, especially in development for a game like this. And I gotta say, I don't know if we will ever see this game. There is a chance that maybe it does just get canceled, but the fact that they are reportedly willing to reboot it, maybe there is a lot of confidence in it, but we'll see. Also, if you were someone looking forward to Microsoft Flight Simulator, because we've been seeing it a lot, by the way, some of the images for this game and then some of the gameplay we've seen, it looks real. Like, it is crazy. They did put out a new trailer, and you can see some of the visuals here. I mean, it looks photorealistic. It's coming to PC, and we have a release date for it, not too far off, by the way, about a month out, August 18th. And I know some of you OG Flight Simulator fans are super excited to hear that you probably have to wait another month for it to release. It is going to release to Game Pass on PC specifically, okay? So nothing here about the Xbox at all right now. Of course, though, again, OG Flight Simulator fans are probably like, that's fine, I already have my flight stick set up, I'm ready to go for this one, but looking at it, it really is like, that looks like next-gen visuals when I see those, and hey, Flight Simulator's been around for a long time, it's very exciting for people to see this one come out, and I'll be curious to see how it turns out in terms of social media and all of that, if people literally post flights over their house or over locations that they know, because apparently a lot of those places will be in this game. They've collected a lot of data to make this work, so that'll be fun to see how people online react to it. Also, we have heard, of course, that all the Yakuza games, for the most part, are coming to Xbox Game Pass, and people were waiting for Yakuza Kiwami 2 to get dated and show up, and looks like we now have that date. As you can see, we have Sega tweeting out, there can only be one dragon, two dragons clash when Yakuza Kiwami 2 launches on Xbox One, Windows 10, and on Xbox Game Pass on July 30th. So yeah, not too long there either, a couple of weeks out. I am starting to be a fan of these announcements when we're not far off from a release or in this case, a Game Pass update. Again, we saw that, of course, with Paper Mario pretty recently. We're just a few months out, and I think we're going to see that again from Nintendo, but just from all these different developers, I am liking that we're getting the release dates closer to when it actually is coming out. But hey, Yakuza Kiwami 2, couple weeks you'll be able to check it out on Game Pass and on PC. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're gonna start today with that leaked system for Nintendo from Lego. Yeah, this is a weird one. I saw it, and initially I was like, ooh, that's a lot of money, but I kind of should get it for TechWave because I think that would be a lot of fun. Lego collectors, I'm sure, are going to be all over this thing. But leading up to this announcement here, you can see from Lego where they put this out on Twitter. It says, "Are you ready to play like never before?" with what is clearly a silhouette of an NES, a controller, and the good old tube TV. But before that, we had several images leak out of this product, and you can see several of them here. VG Gamer had tons of images, and we also saw Promo Bricks have similar images and even information about this. Now, this allegedly is releasing August 1st. We don't have an official release date from Lego. It does appear that that will be coming possibly today. August 1st, obviously not too far out, and it's going to be going for 230 euros, which would be roughly $260. So it could be $250 here, or it could even be $300. They might even round up for all we know right now, but it's just over 2,600 pieces, and that's right. It is an NES, a controller, a TV, and a cartridge. And you build them. And this is pretty funny. Okay, so of course we saw the typical Lego set, right? Where it was like, oh, it's Mario and he's running around, and okay, that's pretty fun, but we're building a Nintendo here. I like that. It looks like that the TV will have Mario jumping in like an iconic scene from the original Mario Bros. Game, and obviously that's really cool, but it looks like you also will have Mario jumping and move him across manually with like a lever, and of course you put it all together. This is very creative compared to what I was expecting Lego and Nintendo to do together, and while this is very expensive, all right, look, $250 to $300 for this. Yes, that's kind of expensive considering you could buy a straight up Switch with that money. You could buy a Nintendo Classic, a Super Nintendo Classic, and then go on eBay and buy a Nintendo 64 and some games for this price. Yes, I get it. I think the idea here obviously is the collector's aspect. There are gonna be people who buy this, never take it out of the box. They'll just leave it, they'll put it on a shelf and walk away, and that'll be that. I would like to get this so we can put it together. I think it would be a blast. And I do wonder if they're just going to stick with NES. Will they do Super Nintendo? Will they do Nintendo 64? Will we do GameCube? All right, see, you got me on GameCube. That would be pretty cool. But it's obviously not going to be something you'll play. You're going to put it together. You're going to look at it. People were actually asking that. Will this work? No, it looks like maybe the lid lifts up and maybe you can put the cartridge in, right? Just for the overall effect and the nostalgia of being able to do it. But it's not going to have anything to do with actually playing a game. But I like the idea. I think it's super creative and I am interested in it, but it's not going to be for everyone. That price is not exactly entry level. However, we'll see. I'll pick it up if I can get it. It appears that it's going to be specific to Lego, so like they'll be selling it, it seems, themselves. I don't know if that means just Lego stores and on their website. Someone will have to let me know. If you find out, let me know on Twitter. There is a Lego store around me. I'll actually go out there, pick it up, and we'll have fun on a Sunday during a Tech Wave, putting this together and seeing how it all works and how it looks in person set up. So for that, I'm pretty excited. Here's hoping the August 1st date is correct, because that means in just 2 weeks or so, I'll go ahead and grab it. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 pre-order and pricing, because this got a little out of hand yesterday. There seemed to be a lot of rumors leading up to the 13th of July that Sony was going to be making an announcement on the pricing and then open pre-orders right away. And that got to the point where people were just on Twitter like, oh, I guess I'll just hang out and wait. I think Dreamcast guy sat around waiting like all day. He kept tweeting about it, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a thing. So of course I start looking around, seeing if anyone can tell me. And what's strange is it does appear that retailers are preparing, but there's no set like date or time that I've been able to find, and that's kind of where we are right now. And I was hearing that, I said, unless Sony has some massive blindside, announcement set up, I don't know if anything's going to be happening today, and then nothing did. Now, here's the good news. Because I'm talking about this in Newswave right now, there is a very good chance that in an hour after this goes up, they'll just open pre-orders and announce pricing to outdate this whole thing. Great. But the rumors, of course, were spreading, and when nothing happened, everyone seemed very confused looking around. Now, from what I can tell, there were several tweets all over Twitter, like almost 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago, pointing at July 13th. And we even got to the point where you can see here where we even had an actual time where Roberto Serrano said around 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then eventually it got even later than that to like 3 p.m. Eastern. It was all over the place. And there were a lot of questions as to why Sony would do it in July 13th. It seems strange why they wouldn't do it getting closer to release date, like in August, but keep in mind, we started to get pre-order information, pricing, all of that with the PlayStation 4 in June. But a lot of it has to do with E3 existing, and a lot of times, publishers, developers, game console manufacturers have to work on E3 time. I've always wondered at what they would do if they didn't have an E3, because then they could do announcements whenever they want. And we're finding out this week where different events get kind of split up, where Ubisoft's like, oh, we'll do another forward event later. They wouldn't have done that if E3 was around. And I do think we would probably know pricing from Microsoft and most likely Sony already if E3 had existed this year. So right now, I would say looking at this, despite a lot of pre-order pages going up, which started to lean in to those rumors where we had Amazon, I believe Australia, start to post everything. I mean, we had both console variants with the digital and the physical with the discs. And then we also had the camera, the controller, the headphones, everything was going up. But then on the other hand, the page that people kept pointing to, which was the PlayStation 5 page, that had been up for weeks. So it was all over the place. Information was kind of off here, but right here, it was a whole thing yesterday. But so far, as of this recording, no pricing, no pre-orders. Trust me, I will let you know on my second channel as soon as pre-orders go live, because I know everyone wants to be able to get this thing on release date, right? If you're looking to pick it up. So I will do my best to let you know at that time. So make sure you check out the second channel as well, just so you can keep up to date. Also, looking at this, while we feel like Nintendo is going to be doing something in the coming weeks, it is a lesson to be learned, obviously, because there was a lot of hype going into this and then nothing happened. So while rumors can look really good at times, and it seems like everyone's like, oh, yep, something's happening, there's always the chance that plans could change, or there were just never plans at all. So keep that in mind for expectations going forward for any big time rumor. Always take it with a grain or two of salt. Next up, let's talk about an NES game that sold for probably way too much money. This is a tweet that was sent out here by Chris Kohler, who said a sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. Just sold at auction for $114,000, which is a new record for the sale of a single game. Bet the owners of the $100,000 one, which is an earlier printing, feel great today. So you could see the image there for Heritage Auctions. It was graded a 9.4. Of course, if you have something rare, vintage, that's in great condition, you might send it off to get it graded. That will generally raise your price exponentially. A lot of people will do that with trading cards, Pokemon cards, I'm sure Magic cards, all of those, and it will raise the price quite a bit because it tells the buyer, hey, this has been graded by a third party. It has been cased up. It's not going to get all damaged in shipping, any of that, and it is verified, to be a certain level of quality. And a lot of times we see these auctions because of that, and it turns out this Mario game was worth $114,000 at auction to someone. Now, the buyer is most likely going to stay anonymous, and this will probably go in a private collection somewhere, right? And it'll just never be seen again. It's just going to go on a shelf, and that'll be it. You might be wondering why this went for so much money. Well, Heritage Auction did attempt to explain it, but it essentially comes down to the production of it being quote unquote more vintage because of the hang tab. If you think about it, you go back earlier and earlier when a ton of these games were being made, there were always like first runs, first editions, all of this. The hang tab apparently is a big deal for Mario. Yeah, that's it. Now, I do also look at this because I dealt with this myself at retail. When something like this happens in the retro community, people will start to think that their games are just worth more because they don't even know why this sold for so much, right? So like there are people, and I would see this, that would come in to trade in like a Mario game and think it might be worth $100 just on its own, even though we had like 15 copies of it, right? So that's something else to think about there. How will this affect the overall retro gaming market? I'm hoping it doesn't get too out of control and people at flea markets see this online and is like, well, I got 10 of those Mario games and they got to be worth at least $200. This one sold for $114,000 graded. Yeah, but we'll see if any more of these pop up because there's a good chance that it continues to climb in price, considering the first one was about $100,000 and was even earlier than this one. So we'll see if the next one pops up and what that goes for. And in our last bit of news, hey, I told you I would let you know about the PlayStation 5 pre-orders and when those go up. Well, I'll let you know when the Atari VCS pre-orders go up. And oh, that's now. And the pricing is yeah, here you go. If you just want just the base console, there's no controller here, by the way. No controller. They're USB ports. I guess you can plug in a keyboard. It's $280. If you want it with two different controllers, it's a bundle, $380. So there is going to have to be a tough decision made this holiday. Atari VCS or PlayStation 5. I mean, that's on you. You can decide. But I saw this go up, and it was amazing to me that you can pre-order the Atari VCS 800, which is 8 gigabytes of RAM, versus the Atari VCS 400, that's 4 gigabytes of RAM, but you can pre-order it and you get it without a controller for $280. It just seems so strange to me. And people are, of course, talking online right now about a $400 Atari VCS bundle that comes with the controller. I mean, think about that. That's like the big bundle is the one that comes with the controller. It's so strange. I'm getting one, I guess. I don't know. It's supposed to be coming at some point. And the fact that they are doing pre-orders at GameStop and Walmart just saying, hey, open the floodgates, and like 2 people will come through, obviously, but they open the floodgates, then I guess that means I'm getting mine, and we will get a tech wave later this year on the Atari VCS 800. So that's something to look forward to. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Red Mage saying, we need a massive culling of the eShop, like 60% of the content needs to go. I don't necessarly know if they have to just remove stuff. I think if they can figure out the eShop so it can sort content better, then it would be fine, because we would like to assume that the terrible junk games would just fall to the bottom and people just wouldn't see them. User ratings completely separate indie games into different sections, specifically even away from Nintendo's own games that can take over the top charts. I like the idea of the user rating, though, for people who have bought the game. That way, of course, games like Crosscode would get 4s pretty easily, or 5s even out of 5, right? Like a 5-star system, and that would jump to the top, whereas something like Ski Sniper, well, I mean, that might jump to the top 10 now. That would fall to the bottom, right? And that's the idea, is that the good games can succeed, especially if people can vote on them and help them to the top. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today. Well, there's the PlayStation 5 price and pre-order rumors. Were you in on the hype yesterday? Let me know about that. And then the NES Lego set. Are you getting it? Because I will, and we'll do a tech wave here, and I'm hoping it's gonna be a lot of fun. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.